I smoked a tri-tip like a brisket for 6 hours to see if it finally beats the reverse sear. I've enjoyed cooking several tri-tips over the years that have all turned out wonderful, but I wanted to test this out on my mill scale and needed to change everything so it wouldn't dry out. I'm breaking down 5 critical adjustments I had to make. Stick around to see the side dishes I made to accompany this cook. First adjustment, the fat cap. I'm leaving a bit of this on to protect the lean meat during the long cook. It's a simple move, but actually changed the sliceability in a way I hadn't planned for. I'll show you what I mean when we slice into it. Next, I'm dry brining for a few hours. Since my rub is already pretty salt heavy, I'm skipping the extra kosher salt and just brining with the rub itself. I was a little worried about the penetration, and it definitely impacted the final flavor profile, for better or worse. We'll see the result at the end. Coals are glowing and the fire settled. Now we build for the long haul. It's 30 degrees out here, so I'm tucking this pecan and apple into a tight lean-to. A sturdy base, logs pinned close together. Basically a little fortress to keep the heat in and the snow out. That sweet smoke is just a bonus. After a few hours, and once the smoker is stabilized, it's time to put on the meat. We are targeting 275 degrees in the pit today. To survive the wrap, this tri-tip needs moisture. I'm skipping the butter and warming some tallow by the smokestack to keep it rich. Since the mill scale is going to be running for hours anyway, I'm trying to experiment. Bratwurst and foil. I'm curious if we can actually get real wood-fired flavor through a wrap, or if I'm just making more work for myself. I'm going to place it on the deflector plate, where it's going to get pretty good heat from the fire. Man, I've really got to clean this up. While the meat's working, we need something to cut through all the rich tallow and smoke. I'm leaning on a horseradish sauce, the classic partner for beef, but we're using real fresh root today. Now be careful, fresh horseradish is a lot more potent than the prepared kind in the jar. I'm only using about 2 tablespoons, finely grated, because this has a real kick. Fold that into a cup of sour cream for the fat, then hit it with some Dijon and a splash of apple cider vinegar for that necessary tang. The finishing move is fresh chives, salt, and pepper. The trick here is letting this chill for at least 30 minutes. As long as you whip this up before you pull that tri-tip to rest, those sharp flavors will have plenty of time to marry into the cream. It's a simple side, but it's exactly what this rich of a cut needs to stay balanced. We've hit 155 degrees and the color is exactly where I want it. So it's time to wrap. Now I'm choosing butcher paper over foil here because I want this tri-tip to breathe. Since we're pushing through the stall, the paper acts like a secondary skin. It holds the heat to speed things up, but it won't steam the bark into mush like foil might. It's a bit of a trade-off on tenderness, but I think the texture will thank us a lot. And remember that towel we've had warming up on the smokestack? This is the exact moment it earns its keep. I'm pouring this directly over the meat before I seal the paper. Just like you treat a high-end brisket, that liquid gold is going to act as an insurance policy against the dry heat of the offset. After 90 minutes, those bratwursts probing at 202, and they're incredibly juicy. But look at the color, they're pretty pale. The foil blocked the smoke entirely, so honestly, these are basically just boiled brats. Let's stick to the grill for these. Looks aside, they're still juicy, but the real focus is this tri-tip. I pulled it the second it hit 203 degrees Fahrenheit and felt that perfect, probe tender finish. After a full hour to let those juices settle, this butcher paper really is wet. Here's the moment of truth. Right away, you can see the pronounced smoke ring. The mill scale really delivered there. And remember that fat cap we talked about at the start? It made slicing a bit of a challenge, but I'm glad it was there. It acted as a heat shield, protecting the bottom of the meat from the offset's floor. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, on camera it might look a little lean, but the feel in my hands tells a different story. It's got that soft, brisket-like give that we were hunting for. For a 6-hour experiment, I'm honestly impressed with how this held up. Try some of the sauce. Man, this is where it's at. You know, it's got all the juice, the flavor. I think adding that tallow in really helped out. The flavor is there. I think I would have put a little bit more salt, maybe to make it pump a little bit more forward. But aside from that, the meat was cooked really well. It's come out really nice, and this horseradish sauce complements it beautifully because it takes away from a lot of that greasy fattiness that can come alongside of any kind of heavy beef dish, and put something nice, some nice acid, a little bit of good flavors to go along with it. Great job. When it's all said and done, and I think about this amazing flavor, but then also think about the long amount of time it took on the smoker to cook this. Unless I'm cooking a brisket or pork shoulder, I'm probably sticking with the reverse sear method for the tri-tip because it's really hard to justify the extra 4 hours it takes to cook this versus just doing a reverse sear on my smoker or on another grill. Hey, check out my other videos. That one on the right's really good.